Life is short. Hi, my name is Joslyn. I own an online business called Joslyn Bauer Daily Pay, and I've received a lot of email and texts actually asking me how I got started with this business. So let me tell you my story. Back in November, the second, no, pretty much, yeah, second week of November, our mom got sick. She got cold. She just had a regular cold, just normal cold, right? She ended up coming to my husband's birthday party, and she's got a cold, and she's still, okay. And then a week and a half later, which is close to Thanksgiving, she went to the doctor and says, "Hey, we're gonna have to refer you to pulmonary." So she called me and she said, "I think I'm getting worse," and I could barely hear her voice, and I'm like, "Mom, you are worse. Yeah, I think that's not hard. That's pneumonia. So yes, go to the pulmonary specialist." So once she got to the pulmonary specialist, she was referred to the hospital because she had water in her lungs. So when she finally got there, they had to test, and they also found out that she's got blood clot. So pulmonary embolism, I think that's what it's called. So she ended up, going into all these antibiotics, but none of them, for whatever reason, is helping her. So because her heart, she also has AFib like me, her heart was working so hard that the doctor says, "Listen, we need to intubate her until she's better because otherwise she'll have a cardiac arrest." And I said no, because I have my best friends, they're actually EMTs, and they said that the ratio of older people who gets intubated doesn't really come out of it, and so they just kind of go downhill from there. And so I was very against that. But the hospital didn't give us many options. They said she would have died that right there and then that night because she would have had a cardiac arrest. So it is up to us. We had no choice but to intubate her. So they intubated her. Then she didn't never got better. She just went downhill from there. We were asked to make a decision to pull the plug because she's already gone. But she died anyway before we could even make that decision. Actually, the day before we were pulled the plug, that night she already passed away. So we didn't have to make that decision, or she just left because she knew how hard it would be for us to do that, because it was such a struggle for us. I mean, it was awful. Anyway, so my husband, my brother-in-law, and dad was really devastated. So I was left to basically handle everything. Arranging all this funeral stuff is really excruciatingly painful, but it did not give me the time to mourn because there was so much things to do and so much things to pay. It cost us over 12K to, because she didn't plan, so she had no insurance, she had no backup plans to what's going on. And so we had no choice. And when she finally got buried, that was when we buried her that week. That was the only time where things just came to me. That whole realization of everything. The day-to-day living settled in, and you're like, it starts mourning. And I went in a panic because what if that happens to me? What will happen to Caleb? My heart, like literally, again, broke into pieces. Just talking about it's just gonna make me cry. Again, it broke into pieces. Because I'm like, what will happen to Caleb? What would happen to my husband? So I knew I had to do something. And I did. I started looking, I started researching, I already knew about this program, but I didn't really look into it. I knew there was something, because when you feel it in your jelly that there's something about this. And I keep praying, God, please. I don't know if you guys are religious, but I don't go to church all the time, but I pray every day. Not a day goes by that I don't pray. And I kept asking God, please, because I'm so scared. I think I went into panic because, like literally panic, because, oh my God, I have to find something to make sure that I am making, because and I work full time. Whatever I make on that full time maintains our lifestyle. So there's no extra, right? So I knew I had to, but I also need to find something that would fit with my schedule, that whole 8 to 5, that whole 9 to 5 schedule with the baby, with my son. So when I found this, 2 hours a day, I can squeeze it in on the nooks and cranny of my schedule. And because I also have AFib, I'm so scared that, things like that will happen to me, would happen to mom. So I dived into it. I finally made that step because I'm like, okay, I gotta do something. Nothing will happen, nothing will change if I don't do anything about it. So I did. And this program, this interactive program, allowed me to create, it showed me it's already pre-made, the business, the online business that I needed, the website that I needed, everything that I need to learn about posting and algorithm and marketing strategy, that sales funnel, that automation. It's already there. And I'm like, oh my God, this is it. This is my God's answers to my prayers. Although I've seen this 2 years ago, it wasn't my time yet. This is my time. This is the time when God says, here you go, Joslyn. This is it. Now you're ready. Now it's your turn. And if you're watching this, maybe you have been. Maybe you have been, you've seen this before, but it wasn't your time yet. But now it is. And this is what happened to me. And then I was able to make that $900. In one day, that $900, it already paid for my investment. That one customer paid for my investment. On top of that, $900, I have to work a week and a half, 8 hours a day, waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning just to get that. Just think about it. And I know maybe you guys can relate, maybe you can't. But if you're working, you know how that is, where you wake up in the morning and you're so tired by the end of the day that, like, there's gotta be more to life, right? And so that's where I was at. And it was the best decision I've ever made. God laid it out for me. And I knew then, without any doubt, that I was on the right track, because I was able to go and work it in the nooks and crannies of my schedule, because it's only 2 hours. It gave me the step-by-step tutorial on how to do things. It prepared the website for me. It automated my email. It had a sales funnel. It gave me the advertising sites where I just cut and paste everything. Everything that I don't have time for, it's right out there. So everything that I was looking for, it was in this interactive program. And it was God's answer to my prayers. And it has been a blessing ever since. That's how I got started. That is my story. What is your story? Are you in that situation or similar situation where you need to plan, or you need some extra income, or you could use an extra income, but you don't have time. So you just have that limited time to kind of work in between the nooks and crannies of your schedule. You're interested, comment ready, or go into my profile, and underneath my picture, you would see a link. Find out, because it works. It worked for me. It has been a blessing to me. I hope that it will be a blessing to you too, as it was for me.